Alright, here we go. Another episode of Cities of Sigmar. Painting this nice little miniature. Pretty easy. Nothing too crazy. If you've been following along with the series or you've been watching the channel for a long time, it's nothing out of the norm here. It just gives you a nice little paint scheme that makes it look nice, get on the battlefield, and maybe impress your friends, maybe impress someone you like. I don't know. First off, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys help support this channel. Can't thank you guys enough. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you get alerted every time there's a new video. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Without further ado, let's go. Alright, the first thing we're going to work on is our skin tone, which is your basic Cadian Fleshtone. Nothing crazy on that. It's just going to be the face on the lips below the beard and mustache. Next, for the hair, we're going to use a Mechanicus Standard Gray. We're going to go with an older Freeguild Marshal look. Like this is a battle-hardened war veteran. For all of our red robe areas, we're going to use some Mephiston Red. You might have to do 2 coats on this depending on how you primed it. I did a zenithal highlight, so it's up to you. We're going to do a spin around here in just 1 second though, so you'll be able to see all the red. Once you're satisfied with all your robes, you're going to use a Mephiston Red on the shield. You can also use Balal Red as well, which is a contrast paint. It's up to you. Then to just darken our red a little bit, we're going to use some Flesh Tearers Red, which is a contrast paint. I did not go with the Kerberg Crimson. I thought the Flesh Tearers Red gave it a little bit more red color, and that's the color we're looking for. For our gloves, we're going to use a 50-50 mix of Corvus Black and Lahmian Medium to help that white stick out. For our sword, shield, and all of the armor, we're going to use some Iron Warriors. Now, there's a pattern on the armor that you can see. If you get it on top of it, it's not a big deal. Paint it all just as quickly as you can to save some time, and we'll go over here with another color in a minute. For the top portion of the shield, we're going to use some Iron Hand Steel. If you get a little bit on the red, you just clean it up, but just take your time on those. And we're going to paint those insides of the top of the shield a little, I don't even know what they're called, little rose-looking things, designs. We're going to use a different color here in a second, so if you get on that, not a big deal. For our pattern on the armor, we're going to use a little bit of Screaming Bell just to kind of change up the pace and make it look a little differently, like some shining armor. For a little pattern on the shield that we were just talking about, we use some Gehenna's gold. Again, if you get some onto the silver, just clean it up with the original silver that we used, or whatever you used if you don't have that specific silver we have. For the center of the shield, we're going to use some Morghast Bone on there. For the handle of our shield, we're going to use some Steel Legion Drab, followed by some Mournfang Brown on our scabbard for our sword that is attached to the Freeguild Marshal's hip. To work on the eyes real quick before we start getting into the wash phase, we are going to use some Abaddon Black in the center of the eyes, followed by some white in the middle of that black. Now we do that this way because it creates a light source of the white where it's just not on skin. I think it makes it look the best for these types of miniatures, and eyes are a little bit easier this way. And a piece that I forgot, that little button on the thing that holds the, this thing together. It's getting out as gold. Three of our basic washes. No surprises here. For the skin, we're going to use some Reikland Fleshshade. For all of our metal areas, you can also do the gloves. We're going to use some Nulin Oil, and then we're going to use some Agrax Earthshade on our earth areas, obviously. If you wanted to use the Agrax Earthshade onto the gold, you can. We also use the Reikland Fleshshade on all of our gold areas just to give it that nice little look to it. Now this part is optional because it does darken up quite a bit. We're going to do a 50-50 mix of XV88 and Lahmian Medium. We're going to put it in the middle of that. If you wanted to keep it the Morghast Bone, you are not wrong in doing this, and it's probably just a little bit better because we're going to put the transfer sticker over this anyway. We're going to have to highlight this up with Morghast Bone anyways, so you might just want to keep it that way. Starting with the face, we're going to do a reapplication of Cadian Fleshtone, and we're obviously hitting those major areas. We're not getting in the recesses. We're doing the nose, the lips, the cheekbones, the tops of the ears, the little bit of bottom of the ears, the back of the head of our Freeguild Marshal, and the forehead as well. Don't overdo it. Don't go crazy on it. Next, we're going to do a quick 50-50 mix of Kislev and Cadian. Again, we're doing the same spots, but just do a little bit less this time. We're trying to work on that gradient of flesh tone. And then finally, we're going to use some pure Kislev Flesh, focusing on the nose, the cheekbones, the tops of the ears, the lips, and the forehead, and a little bit on the back of the head. Nothing too crazy, but just to make those nice little skin tone variants. While we're here, and the wash had probably killed that black and white on the eyes, just do a reapplication of white, and then take a little tiny dollop with the smallest brush you got and put some black dots in those eyes, and it should look like this. Next, we're going to do our beard and hair. We're going to start with a reapplication of Mechanicus Standard Gray. Do not get into the recesses because we did put that Nulin Oil in there, which makes it give it that depth. Once you're satisfied with that, we're going to do a 50-50 mix of Gray Seer and Mechanicus Standard Gray. And again, we're only working on the tips, the portions that stick out, nothing into the recesses. If you can see an individual piece of hair on our Freeguild Marshal, hit that up. And once you're satisfied with that 50-50 mix, we're going to take some pure Gray Seer and hit the tips. It's almost like he's graying and then going white. So it gives it that nice little veteran look, in my opinion. Next, we're going to do a quick reapplication of Steel Legion Drab, since we hit it up with that Agrax Earthshade. Again, nothing crazy. If you want to do a different color, you could do that as well, but I just went with the original color that we used. To highlight up our gloves, we're going to use some Skavenblight Dinge. If you wanted to go a little bit lighter, you could. Maybe some Dawnstone. I wouldn't go as deep as Administratum Gray, but something in that neutral gray color would be just about perfect. For the clasp, we're going to use a little bit of Ushabti Bone that I couldn't think of earlier in the video, but that's what it's called. And then we're going to work on the cape. So we're going to do a 50-50 mix of Mephiston Red and Lahmian Medium. And we're going to work on the cape. Don't go into the recesses, just on the raised areas. And you're going to need about 3, probably 4 coats. Let it dry and then redo it again. We'll do a spin around here in 1 second. Once you're satisfied with your original application, we're going to do Evil Sun Scarlet and Lahmian Medium. Again, we're just going over those top portions. We're not getting into the recesses, and we're just building up those colors of red until we get to the final color here in a second. You can go as deep as you want. You can put as many layers as you want. You can do as little as you want. It's up to you on how red and vibrant you want to make that cape. Once you're satisfied with that, we're going to do another 50-50 mix of Wild Ryder Red and Lahmian Medium. And again, we're just going on those same areas, not going crazy on it. Build up the highlights. Put the highlight on there, let it sit, let it completely dry, and if you want to do another one, you can. And you can continue this process until you feel like you've achieved the correct color or red variation that you're looking for. I did about 3 to 4 coats on each. After they dry, I did another one and let it dry and do it again. And this is what it came out to be here in a second as we do a spin around, and I actually thought it was pretty decent. Next, for the armor, we're going to brighten it up a little bit. We got that brass color on it, and we're going to use some Skullcrusher Brass just to brighten up. It's almost like a gold, in my opinion. Maybe a duller gold. I like it. It looked good. This is the first time I'm using this paint, and I enjoy it. Next, for all of our silver pieces, we're going to use just a little bit of Ironbreaker. Now, I'm working with the edge of my brush, and we're just hitting the edges on a lot of this stuff. Again, don't overdo this. You want to have that dark metallic look mixed in with some bright metallic look. I think it looks pretty good, and I just did not overdo it. Moving on, we're going to go to the base, and I'm going to do a basic base. We're going to get a little bit of Gorthor Brown. We're going to put it all over that area. Again, you can do whatever you want in this phase, but this is typically what I do for my army, and I keep them uniform because it's obviously an army. Once that's completely dry, we're going to use some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to put it on there to give it some depth and some different coloring, and we're going to let it dry completely. Once completely dry, we're going to use some Baneblade Brown, and we're going to put that all over our base and just dry brush it real quick. Now we're going to take some basic glue, like we're in the 2nd grade or kindergarten again, and we're going to put it on there, and we're going to put some grass on there. I'm just using some basic green grass from Army Painter that I got at my local hobby shop. And again, I'm just putting it on there. There's no rhyme or reason, just whatever you feel like. Once you're satisfied with your grass, we're going to go to your favorite part of painting the miniature, because it means we're done, the edge. I'm using black, like always, because that's what I like. But you can do whatever you want. And that's it. That's all. Nothing too crazy, nothing you can't handle. Kind of reminds me of Adolin from the Stormlight Archive. If you know what I mean, leave me a comment. I want to hear what you think. But that's the kind of vibe I got when I was painting this. If you know what I mean, leave me a comment. Only certain people are going to get that. So thank you for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. Thank you all my YouTube members. Hit that subscribe button. Or don't. Whatever. Just keep watching. Doesn't matter. See you on the next one. Paint on.